A new NBA season is coming in the next 2 weeks. It's currently the preseason, and so it's a great time to make bold position for the upcoming season. There are plenty of players that are poised to break out, and plenty of teams that are poised to break out as well. Players that are poised to win multiple awards, and as far as team success, there are plenty of teams that can surprise us and make the playoffs, specifically the first round, make it out the first, second, hell, win their conference and also an NBA championship, or even in certain times, make history. There are so many things that can happen in this season. I have a feeling that this 25 season could rival or exceed that of the 2016 season, which is regarded as the greatest NBA season ever, at least in my eyes. Both of the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference are the strongest it's ever been in such a long time due to the many newly emerged championship teams in the East and also the West. So without further ado, let's predict the 5 likely scenarios that can happen in the 25 season. But first, A-Man, say man, this is the A-Man Show, back at it again for more content. Make sure y'all subscribe. I post NBA content. Turn on post notifications so that way you don't miss anything new from me. Anyways, grab you a popcorn and snacks and enjoy the vid. Alright, so the first bold prediction is Lauri Markkanen will get traded mid-season, and the reason why is because Utah is in rebuild mode, and having a star player in Markkanen who is in his prime years of his career just does not fit in this team's timeline. Although they have young guys that have upside, but they'll never truly shine if Markkanen is on the roster. And so with that being said, the Jazz should look for options that will satisfy their needs for the organization in regards to the Markkanen trade. Golden State has been the most amount of talks towards getting Markkanen. They do have the assets towards getting him. Golden State currently has 6 first-round picks, and it does involve trading some of their young guys such as Moses Moody and of course Andrew Wiggins. Even with these tough moves, it could move Golden State into dark horse finals contention. Curry is still one of the 5 best players in the NBA. You got Brendan Podziemski, who will have a bigger role on offense, and I expect him to be a 15 to 16 points per game type guy who is a sharpshooter from 3. Buddy Hield obviously fits in the offense perfectly and can give you 12 points on above 40% from 3 on multiple attempts, even though there are questions regarding his defense. Draymond Green will still be that utility guy who was the main anchor on defense, and in the center position will be Lauri Markkanen. The only question for Golden State, if the trade follows through, what would the future be like when Curry retires from the game? Will Lauri Markkanen stay at Golden State for a rebuild? That remains to be seen. Of course, there's other options such as Minnesota, like I said about last video. The Rockets are another option, but aside from them, Lauri Markkanen will likely get traded to Golden State mid-season and will go at it for another championship. Alright, on to the second prediction, which is really fucking bold for some of y'all people, but I think that the Rockets will be the biggest surprise of the season. It will win 55 games, make the 5th or 6th seed in the Western Conference, and potentially make it out of the first round of the playoffs. Yes, it is a bold prediction, but hear me out. I think this roster is a lot better than y'all think, and I talked about this in my Rockets video. If you want to check it out, link is in the right hand upper corner. I'm not going to go too deep into this segment, so I'm going to just go straight forward with this. I think Alperen Sengun will have a massive leap this year. He has improved significantly every year, and I think this year he will be among, one of the top 3 centers in the NBA. And yes, over Bam Adebayo, Domantas Sabonis, and Rudy Gobert. Sengun can also put himself among the top 10 or even top 5 in MVP voting. He's one of the best post players in the game and one of the best passing centers in the league as well too. Literally baby Jokic. He's going to show the league why he's a rising superstar in this league. Jalen Green will put himself among the top 10 shooting guards in the league. I think this is his year to make an all-star appearance as well as getting a larger new contract. All the young guys will take another step. Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks will continue to be very solid 3-and-D guys for the roster. Last but not least, Ime Udoka is one of the few coaches that can rival that of Eric Spoelstra. He's my pick to win Coach of the Year. The Rockets have star players, a very solid young and deep supporting cast, great veteran guys, along with a Coach of the Year candidate in Ime Udoka and Rookie of the Year candidate in Reed Shepherd. It is very likely that the Rockets will win 55 games and make the 5th or 6th seed in a tough Western Conference. Okay, so I went through 2 predictions, so this is my 3rd prediction of this video, which is the Celtics will be the first team since the 2018 Warriors to go back-to-back, and is very likely for them to do so. Now, it's much harder now than ever before to get out the East. You have the Sixers and the Knicks, who just got Karl-Anthony Towns last week in a trade. They also have to deal with Orlando, in which I did a separate video on them, and they are going to be a very competitive team in the East. And of course, the Miami Heat and the Pacers, and yes, I purposely let the Bucks out of the category because they have Doc Rivers. But going back to the Celtics, they have retained the majority of their important pieces on the roster. They still have Drew Holiday and Derek White. They still have Tatum and Brown, the best duo in the NBA as of right now. You still have Porzingis, who has surgery and will likely play his first game of the season in December. But despite that, the Celtics are fine without him as long as Porzingis is playing at a level compared to last year. The Celtics will win 60 plus games this season. They still have their bench unit with the addition of Lonnie Walker Jr., who's a good scoring guy who can play defense as well. Boston definitely did a great job retaining this roster, unlike the Denver Nuggets, who lost the majority of their bench unit after they won a championship the year before. Boston, to me, is signaling 2016 Warriors vibes, where they could win 70 games this season, especially with the added chemistry they had compared to last year. Like I said, they are in a tougher Eastern Conference, and a few teams like the Sixers and the Knicks can give Boston a run at their money. But with added championship DNA, they can and will prevail and win the conference and potentially go up against Dallas once again, which will be a much tougher series because Dallas is a much better team with much added depth and the addition of Klay Thompson. But in the end, I still think that Boston has the upper hand in this potential series and will become the first team since the 2018 Warriors to go back-to-back. Now, this is the second to last prediction for this season, and that is Wembanyama will have a historic second season. This second season from Wembanyama will be so good that you can make the claim that it's the greatest individual season for a second-year player in NBA history. Wemby will average at least 28 points per game, as well as lead the NBA in rebounds, average at least 6 assists, and shoot 48% from the field, 38% from 3, and 80-something from the free throw line. What's great about that season is that Wemby will again lead the NBA in blocks and as well as average 2 steals. His defensive impact will be so great. Despite the inadequacies on the defensive end for the Spurs, Wembanyama will lead the Spurs to potentially the #1 ranked defense in the NBA. It took Rudy Gobert to be this good defensively to the point that the Jazz were the #1 ranked defense 2 of the last 5 seasons from 2019 to 2024. Imagine what Wemby can do, especially what he did in his rookie year when he was second in DPOY voting behind Gobert. Wemby can be the first ever unanimous Defensive Player of the Year winner and also be in the top 3 in MVP voting, because now playing with Chris Paul, despite being the second oldest player in the league, he is known to be an incredible floor raiser for any team he's been in. The Clippers, the Rockets, the Thunder, the Suns, all you can name of. Having that guy on your team works wonders for Wembanyama. Wemby will have a historic second season, and because of his performance alongside Chris Paul, the Spurs will compete in the play-in. And then my last prediction for the video is that Luka Doncic will win his first MVP in a landslide. Now, I was thinking that Luka will go unanimous in MVP voting, which makes him the second player to do so. But because you have Nikola Jokic, who every year is putting up MVP level stats, and so do Joel Embiid, and also SGA, and now Wemby, it will take a special season for Luka Doncic, like average a 38-point triple-double in elite shooting splits, and lead the Mavs to a 70-plus win season in order for him to go unanimous in MVP voting. It really depends on the guys like Kyrie to stay healthy, which hasn't been too much of a problem, only playing 58 games last season. I would like him to play a couple more games in order for the team to reach that milestone. And of course, Klay Thompson getting a resurgence year, now having real playmakers like Luka and Kyrie. You still got PJ Washington, you still got Derek Lively, and of course Daniel Gafford. Although they lost a key role guy like Derrick Jones Jr. to the Clippers, but they replaced him, such as adding more depth, such as Quinn Grimes, a great 3-and-D guy off the bench, and also Najee Marshall, and also bringing back Spencer Dinwiddie. You still have Jaden Hardy, Maxi Kleber, Dante Exum. This Mavericks team may be the most talented on paper ever in their franchise history, and I do believe that this Mavericks team will be an all-time great regular season team, with Luka Doncic averaging a triple-double while leading the NBA in points per game on elite shooting splits. They are the best team in the Western Conference, perhaps the whole entire NBA, and that can lead Luka receiving his first ever MVP in a landslide. So, thank you all for watching this video. What are your thoughts about this vid? I personally think that this season may go down as the greatest, maybe overtake 2016 as the greatest NBA season of all time. And we all know how great that 2016 NBA season was. But I just feel there is something within me, like this upcoming season may overtake 2016. The Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks are looking like they will do a rematch of last year's NBA Finals, now being evenly matched teams. I think the Celtics and the Mavericks will be this decade's NBA Finals rivalry, just like the Warriors and the Cavs in the 2010s, where they will have so many iconic moments. And now fast forward to today, this potential rivalry between the Celtics and the Mavs may overtake them. But anyways, guys, let me know, is this 2025 NBA season could be the greatest season of all time? Be sure to subscribe for more NBA videos, turn on post notifications, and that is all. Stay litty. This is the A-Man Show. Sign out.